You already know how time works. Of course you do. You've known since you were 5 years old, standing in a classroom, watching the second hand drag itself around a white clock on the wall, counting the minutes until recess. Time passes. It moves. It flows forward, always forward, carrying everything with it. Your childhood, your last birthday, the conversation you had this morning that you'll never have again. This is not a belief. This is the most obvious fact of your entire existence. And right there, on your wrist, or on your wall, or on the corner of your phone screen, you have a machine built entirely around that fact. A clock. You've looked at one today already, probably dozens of times. It's so familiar you don't even see it anymore. You just see the time. You see the number. You see how much of your day is gone. Here is the number that should stop you cold. That second hand completes 86,400 full movements every single day. 86,400 ticks. And not one physicist, not one person alive with a PhD in theoretical physics can tell you with certainty what that hand is actually measuring. They can tell you how to measure it, they can tell you how it behaves, but ask them what time fundamentally is, and the room goes quiet. So here is the question I want you to sit with for the next few minutes. If time passes, if it truly flows like water, like wind, where does it go? Can you point to it? Can you hold yesterday in your hand? Can you show me a single experiment anywhere in the history of science that proves time flows at all? Not that it exists, not that things change, that it moves. Because those are not the same thing. And once you see the difference, that clock on your wall is going to look like something you've never seen before. So let's do what any reasonable person does. Let's find the answer together. And the first place you look is the most obvious place, yourself. You feel time passing.
Right now, as you watch this, you are aware that seconds are going by. You remember what happened 5 minutes ago. You can anticipate what will happen 5 minutes from now. You age. Your parents aged. Everyone you've ever loved has moved through time in one direction and one direction only. That's not a feeling, that's data. The experience of duration is universal. Every human being who has ever lived has felt time moving forward. If that's not evidence, what is? Here is what it actually is: neurology. Your brain constructs the sensation of duration the same way it constructs color, pain, and the feeling that a song is beautiful. It's a model. It's a representation. It is not a direct perception of physical reality. Put a person under general anesthesia and ask them how long they were unconscious. They will tell you nothing. No duration at all. 3 hours of surgery feel like a single blink. The brain stopped updating its model, and time, subjectively, ceased to exist entirely. People who survive cardiac arrest describe the same thing. Deep, dreamless sleep, same thing. Your feeling of time passing is a story your nervous system tells you, and it tells it very convincingly. But a convincing story is not physics. All right, fine. You're willing to let go of the feeling, but there's something you're not willing to let go of, something that seems airtight. Entropy. You've heard the word. Things fall apart. Ice melts. Coffee cools. People get old and don't get young again. Broken glasses don't reassemble themselves. Smoke doesn't flow back into a cigarette. There is an unmistakable, irreversible direction to the way the universe changes, and that direction is forward. That is the arrow of time. That has to be what the clock is measuring. The universe is always moving from order to disorder, and time is the name we give to that movement. This one feels unbreakable. Now, write down every fundamental equation in physics. Newton's laws,
Maxwell's equations for electromagnetism, Schrödinger's equation in quantum mechanics, Einstein's field equations in general relativity. Every single one of them. Now run them backwards. Reverse the direction of time in the mathematics and check whether the equations still hold. They do. Every single one. The laws of physics are time-symmetric. They do not have a built-in forward. They do not care whether you run them left to right or right to left across the page. Entropy picks a direction, yes, but entropy is a statistical tendency, not a law. It describes what is likely, not what is required. A broken glass could reassemble, The probability is so close to zero it's effectively impossible, but the physics doesn't forbid it. The equation doesn't flinch either way. So you're left with this. Your feeling of time is a neurological construction. The arrow of time is a statistical preference, not a physical law.
And the clock on your wall keeps ticking, 86,400 times a day, and you have absolutely no answer for what it's counting. The physicists don't have one either. Every explanation you reached for just dissolved in your hand. The most familiar object in your life is measuring something that nobody can fully explain. You are sitting with a machine that points at a mystery so deep it goes all the way down to the foundations of reality. And only now, only when you have no answers left, does the real answer become visible. Time doesn't pass. You move through it. That's it. That's the answer. Not a metaphor, not a poetic way of saying the same old thing. A literal, geometric, mathematically precise description of what is actually happening every second of your life. Time is not a river carrying you forward. Time is a dimension, as real, as solid, as physically present as the 3 dimensions of space you move through every day.
And just like space doesn't disappear when you're not looking at it, time doesn't disappear when you're not in it. Every moment that has ever existed still exists. Right now, somewhere in the structure of the universe, your 7th birthday is not a memory, it is a location. Physicists call this the block universe, or eternalism. The technical name is less important than what it means for you personally. The idea is this. The universe is not a movie playing forward, frame by frame, with only the current frame existing at any given moment. The universe is the entire film, every frame, every scene, beginning and end, all existing simultaneously as a single 4-dimensional object. You are not watching the movie. You are a line drawn through it. Your life is a path, a trajectory through space-time, and the clock on your wall isn't measuring something that flows past you. It's a ruler.
It's measuring how far along your path you've traveled through the time dimension, the same way an odometer measures how far you've traveled through space. The hands don't count time passing. They count where you are, and where you've been doesn't stop existing just because you left it. Now, you might be thinking, this sounds like philosophy, like a beautiful idea someone invented to make physics feel profound. So let's make it concrete. Let's make it something you can measure, something that costs real money when you get it wrong, something that affects your life right now whether you know about it or not. In 1905, Einstein published the special theory of relativity, and one of its consequences, one of the things that falls directly out of the mathematics, with no assumptions, no interpretations, just the equations doing what equations do, is that time does not tick at the same rate everywhere. It ticks differently depending on how fast you're moving and how deep you are in a gravitational field. Not metaphorically differently, physically, measurably, instrumentally differently. If you move faster through space, you move slower through time. If you sit deeper in a gravitational well, closer to a massive object, time runs slower for you than for someone sitting higher up. This is not a thought experiment. This is an engineering problem that your phone solves 30 times a second. The GPS satellites orbiting Earth are moving fast enough and sitting high enough in Earth's gravitational field that their onboard clocks run fast by exactly 38 microseconds per day relative to clocks on the ground. 38 microseconds. That sounds like nothing. But light travels 11 kilometers in 38 microseconds. If the engineers who built GPS ignored relativity, if they assumed time ticks at the same rate everywhere because that's what feels obvious, your navigation would drift by 11 kilometers every single day. Your phone would tell you that you're in the middle of a lake when you're standing in a parking lot. The only reason it doesn't is because they corrected for the geometry of space-time. They corrected for the fact that time bends. And here is the step that changes everything. If time bends, it's a thing. Not a feeling, not a convention, not a human invention for organizing train schedules. A physical thing with structure. A thing that responds to mass and velocity the same way space does. And if it's a thing with structure, if it has geometry, then it exists the way geometry exists. All of it at once. You don't say that the east side of your city stops existing when you drive to the west side. Space is all there, simultaneously, whether you're in it or not. The block universe says time is exactly the same. Every moment is exactly as real as every location. The past is not gone, it is simply not here. It is exactly where you left it. This is what Einstein's field equations describe. Not time as a flow, not time as a current, time as a dimension woven inseparably into the fabric of space, a fabric that curves around mass, that stretches under velocity, that has a shape the same way a mountain range has a shape. Your clock is not a machine that catches time as it flies past. Your clock is a compass. It has a needle, and that needle points in the direction you're traveling through the fourth dimension, the one you can't see, can't touch, can't turn around in, but are always moving through. Every tick is a step, every second is a distance, and the geometry you're walking through has been there since the beginning and will be there long after the last clock stops. Now bring it back to your body.
Because this isn't just true for satellites. It's true for you, right now, sitting exactly where you are. The cells at the top of your head are slightly farther from Earth's center of mass than the cells at the bottom of your feet, slightly higher in the gravitational field. And because of that, because of the same geometry that makes GPS work, time runs microscopically faster at the top of your head than at the bottom of your feet. You are not one age, you are a gradient. A living, breathing proof of curved spacetime, walking around in shoes, checking your phone. Every atom in your body is aging at a slightly different rate, and the difference is real, and it is measurable, and it has been measured. You are not a point moving through time. You are a shape spread across it. And now consider what that means for everything you've ever lost.
If the block universe is correct, and the mathematics of general relativity strongly suggest it is, then nothing you have ever experienced has been destroyed. Your grandmother's voice, the last afternoon of your childhood, the moment you realized you were in love for the first time. These are not memories dissolving into nothing. They are coordinates, fixed locations in a four-dimensional structure that does not erase itself. The universe does not delete its past. It accumulates it. Every moment that has ever happened is still happening, exactly where it was, in the geometry of spacetime. You left it. It didn't leave you. Richard Feynman spent his entire career staring at the deepest machinery of reality, quantum electrodynamics, the behavior of light and matter at scales so small they dissolve ordinary intuition entirely. That's the man who understood more about the fundamental structure of nature than almost anyone alive, and he said that, not as defeat, as wonder.
Because the mystery isn't a failure of science. The mystery is the most honest thing science has ever produced, and you just walked straight into the center of it. So look at the clock again. Really look at it. Not to check the time, not to see how many minutes until something else happens. Look at it as what it actually is. A compass needle, trembling in the direction of a dimension you will spend your entire life traveling through, without ever once being able to turn around and see where you came from. Every tick is not time leaving. Every tick is you arriving, one step deeper into a structure that has always existed, that will always exist, and that holds every version of you that has ever been, permanently in the geometry of a universe that does not forget. You'll never look at a clock the same way again. And the next time someone near you glances at their watch, you might want to tell them what it actually is. Not a machine that measures something passing. A compass.
Pointing into forever.